Here's part one of our fourth interview with Bill Champlin, formerly of Chicago. I'm John Beaudin from Rock History Music. Bill has a brand new album out. It's probably the best thing I've ever heard from him. It's the size of a double CD. We'll have links to everything Bill Champlin in the description of this video where you can order it. Here's our chat, part one with Bill Champlin.
Who do you talk to from the old band? Jason obviously is one of them. I mean,
Jason, I hang out with Tris a lot. I see him pretty regularly. He finally had a rotator cuff problem going on, and he finally took care of that. Because for a while there, he was in this really newfangled, crazy-ass sling. Wasn't just a thing around his shoulder. There was another piece of something in here. And I was going, oh, wow, I hope this goes away soon. And it did. He's got that together.
Especially as a drummer. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason he had put it off for so long. But all of a sudden, he was like kind of without a gig for a minute. And that's when he went ahead and did it. But, I mean, within 2 weeks after walking out of Chicago, he was playing with Kenny Loggins.
Yeah.
Where he started, And for a certain period of time, I don't think he is anymore. God, nobody's playing anything now, I mean, especially in California. It's just locked so tight that there's just nothing we can do. That's one of the reasons why Tamara and Will and I drove to Houston, Texas. That's halfway across the country going down, so Highway 10 all the way down. It's like, wow, this is a long drive, but it's at least I'm seeing something other than my street.
I know. That's what I was thinking when I heard you were going. I'm going, my God, the expanse of the land, nothing beats that. God, just to see something.
There's a point, I think, in more. I mean, when we came back, it was maybe during nighttime when we went through. There's a point, I think, in more around eastern Arizona that's just beautiful. And you could see, this is the state that the Grand Canyon is in. You could see that there was some stuff going on, you know what I mean? It was just every corner we came around, it was like, oh my God, look at this postcard. Dig this baby. And in that sense, yeah, just in terms of seeing something other than the same thing over and over again. This pandemic and this lockdown thing, it's messing some people up, And luckily I have music to keep me from, otherwise, I don't think if I hadn't cut this album, I probably would have gone crazy, gone up to the top of a building and start pot shotting people. I'm not really, but
First, we imagine Bill Champlin going to David Foster's house. Isn't that him going up the hill over there? Wait a minute.
Tell me. Well, David, me and Jay actually went and saw one of his shows, and it was a ball to see him. I hadn't seen him in a long time, and we kind of. Sort of because of Chicago in a lot of ways, we sort of parted ways. He was mad at everybody in the band because they were bad mouthing him so bad. I mean, they put out a remastered version of the David Foster era, 16, 17, 18. And two of the guys were talking to somebody and said, we hate what David Foster did to the band. What David Foster did to the band is he took everybody's bank account and went boom. Oh, you hate him for that? Come on, give me a break. It was a really good era. There was some really, really great music. So he kind of was really angry at the band for what these two guys said, but it kind of landed in my lap. At one point, he said, man, I'm really pissed at you. I said, what for? It was on a telephone call. He said, man, because of that. I said, I never even knew they did a remaster. They didn't even tell me there was a remastered record out. I had no idea it was out there. Let alone anybody saying something like that. And they call me a rookie. That's, if somebody wants to think that, that's one thing, but you don't put it on a record. We hate what the producer of this record did to the band. It's like putting out a motor oil, say, be sure to buy this motor oil. It's going to blow your engine up. Why?
It's like the documentary, though, unfortunately. I think a lot of people left the documentary. And I mean, I contacted Danny right after that. He says, it's too fresh, man. I can't talk to you right now. And he says, I want to, but I might say something I'll regret. And then his manager contacted me and said, hey, man, it's too soon. We just,
Yeah. So yeah, believe me, I got you. It's Peter. They were saying, well, Peter wanted to do a certain way, and he wanted to get all the rest of us involved in the Hall of Fame thing, and they were going, no. And when Danny got up to talk, I mean, the first name he mentioned was me, and you could see behind him Robert going, "Oh God!" They took that out of the he mentioned Lagier, he mentioned Chris Pinnock, he mentioned Chaz Sanford, he mentioned David Foster, he mentioned all these people, and they just clipped it,
Really?
Yeah.
That's too bad. Mark Melberg, because you've already answered the Elton John, asked me to ask you on Facebook, any plans of working with David Paich in the future?
I have, David kind of got a little bit sick there for a while. I know he kind of bailed out of Toto, as did a lot of people. And I'm not sure, I don't have any plans for it. I mean, we're friends. I've known him he played on on my first solo album. And with Foster, I mean, there were two keyboard players on, Keys to the Kingdom and some of those other really cool pieces. And it was really kind of cool to have David around. I mean, he's a great piano player. I mean, when Tom Scott did Keep This Love Alive album, I did a duet on the record with Brenda Russell. And it was actually a Tamara, Champlin, and Bruce Geitz song, If You're Not the One for Me. And David was a piano player on it. And it was just, man, forget about it. He's just great. Yeah. I mean, he's a really, really good piano player. He's a great lyricist, a great arranger, a great songwriter. I mean, he's one of the most, he really is the thing behind what made Toto get up and go.
Hey, listen, I got to tell you, and I know it's just like, oh my God, it's your best album yet. But everyone said, but there is no filler on this freaking project. How long did it take to put this together?
Well, I had like probably 3 things sort of half done already. When I was actually playing acoustic guitar, had just written most of the song of the title tune, Livin' for Love. And Tamara came in from the store. She was somewhere. And I said, what do you think of this? So I played her a little bit of it. She just went, oh my God, you got to do a solo album. So, that got me going. First person I've called Bruce Geitz, let him know what was going on. And Bruce and and Tamara have written together for years. And he still lives in I think Brentwood or Nashville, somewhere around there. And he sent me something that was really cool. And then I did 3 things with Greg Matheson, which is great. And then kind of at the last minute, I wrote something with Andreas Carlson, who's an old dear friend of mine. And that's that song, Too Good for Too Long. And Andreas is a kick. I mean, he kind of knows the top 10 pretty well. He wrote all those, co-wrote all those Britney Spears things and Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and Celine Dion, and the list goes on and on and on. And it was kind of cool to have him in town and to go for it. He's a Swedish guy. I think he's still in Stockholm right now.
Reason to Believe, another, like that's a power love song. What can you tell me about that song?
Well, I always kind of consider it. It starts off real sweet and pretty, and boom, it's like Bambi meets Godzilla. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know, when we wrote the lyrics on it, the track was so complete in a lot of ways. All I did was put a B3 on it, played Hammond organ on it as far as instrumentally, and the rest of it's just vocals, me and Tamara singing it. And I sang a lead on it, and I just realized when we were writing it, when I actually was writing out the final draft and making sure I'm saving it so I don't, get forgetful and forget that I'd written it somewhere. And where's those lyrics, Yeah. So I keep a folder pretty together. And I just realized this song's pretty much about gratitude. There's a lot of gratitude in this piece of music. So that was just a great surprise. Bruce had this track. He sent a handful of other tracks, but this is the one that really jumped out. And when I found out that it was George on bass, I went, oh man, that just warms my heart. We get Mr. Hawkins on one more round from Georgie, Yeah. When we did the Wonderground album, we got a couple George to play on a couple tunes. So most of the records I've done, I've had George on a few things here and there, vocally, writing. I mean, on No Place Left to Fall, it was all George. And he co-wrote a bunch of the stuff and sang a bunch of backgrounds.
My 17-year-old son, Chase, edits all our videos, and he ran downstairs after I did this one. He said, man, Bill Champlin's an interesting guy. I love this. And we talked for like almost 2 hours. Part 2 coming up in a few days. Make sure you comment on our video, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos. I'm John Beaudin. This is Rock History Music.